Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe's Chop Shop, and welcome to 2023. So let's start off the year right and give you an absolute cracker an episode. Hopefully it's going to be a pretty long one, and I'm going to try and get the Corolla finished in this episode, and it should be reasonably long, so let's get into it. Alright, so the Corolla's coming along really well. Got it back on the ground, got the wheels on, windows in, so these are awesome. We had a guy come around from BB Auto Glass, he put them in for me. He did a sweet job, so they're good to go. All the interior and everything all looks wicked. Super reflective as you can see, but everything's ready to go back in, so I just need to remake door cards and then put them in, and then I can put all the seats and stuff in, the carpet and stuff. So there's a bit more to do with the indicator stalk and the little thing that Aiden made me, the little CNC guy. So I need to do that as well. And then there's a bunch of little jobs for the rest of the car. All right, so I just want to chuck in that this window is brand new reproduction. A mate of mine, Joe, he's been working with another company to get new windscreens for old cars. So Ke10 windscreens weren't available for a long time. And he got a small batch of about 8 done. So I just wanted to shout him out, Japanese Vision windscreens. If you're after anything in particular for an old Corolla or an old Celica or a Corona or whatever, doesn't have to be a Toyota, but that's what he's working with at the moment. Old 240K, an old Datsun, whatever you got. So shout out to him and thank you very much. I'll put his business on the screen. If you need any windscreens, let him know. He'll try to hook you up. So let's have a look at the list quickly. We've got the window wipers and covers. The lower control arm bolts and stuff are actually tight, but I need to do a wheel alignment. Carpet and pass-through shelf can pretty much go off. This carpet still needs to go in. Steering pass-through, so the bit between the engine bay and the actual interior, there's like a panel that goes in there to stop dirt and muck coming through. So I need to make a new one of those to fit with the steering column that I've put in. Put the seats in, put the mirrors on, paint the bumper bolts, which I have here somewhere. Make some front bumper brackets, which is going to be a bit of a time consumer. Fit the bumpers, the lights and the grille, which I got all yesterday. I'll show you those shortly. Fit a fire extinguisher, dash pieces, and the steering wheel and column. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that, if I get time, I'll do. So I'll show you the bits I got from paint yesterday. So the guy that did the wagon exhaust for me and fuel tank had a painter lined up to do these. And then that guy bailed, and he actually painted them himself. So he did a wicked job. For a guy that's not a painter, he did an excellent job. So these are going to look really sick. They're the same colour as the wheels. So I took a wheel into the shop, got it colour matched a while back, and then used that paint on these guys. So I think this colour is actually a bit nicer. It's got a bit more gold in it. So I think I'm probably going to get these wheels painted at some point, just to match perfectly to the bumpers. We've got plenty of paint left, so it seems like a good idea. So all of that stuff needs to go on with all the headlights and all the trims and stuff. If anyone has early Ke10 chrome surrounds for the apron, please send me a message, because I don't have any, and all the ones I have, well, I have a bunch and they're all rusty. None of them are like repairable or good, so I might have to just mock something up for now until I can find some good ones. But if you've got some good ones, please let me know. So another exciting thing that happened is I actually managed to source some center caps. So these are really early ones, which is super cool. They're actually cast, so they're metal as opposed to plastic, and they fit on the wheel a bit loose, which I need to sort that out. But they fit really good, they look really good. So I just need to make this a little bigger so they actually clip in, but they sort of just sit at the moment. So in a while, when I get them done and refinished and stuff, they'll look sick. So hopefully I'll have time to do that before the wedding as well. If not, I might take some blue tack with me or something and just put them on for the photos. All the carpet and stuff's up there, ready to go in. I just need to like vacuum it and make sure it's all good and then glue it all into the car. But I want to do those door cards first that I was talking about. So I need to go get more wood and all that sort of stuff. But today is Wednesday, and on Friday we're having a bucks party here. So I need to move some things around and sort some things out. So the obvious elephant in the room, other than Dad's boat, is the F250 here. So this is Ronnie's. He was in the HR video. He's the silent guy. And he bought this and drove it back from Melbourne over the last couple of days. Ronnie drove this over to Tom with the C10, and Tom and Ronnie drove it all the way back to Adelaide, about 1,000 k's. It took them like 2 or 3 days because they were having some issues and they were going slow, but it's a super nice rig. But that's not today's focus. So I need to get this driveway kind of cleaned up. So the Falcon's easy, that runs and drives. I'm just going to shove it in the corner somewhere. The toy waste doesn't drive and is on rollers, so I think I'll clean up this spot over here, push that right across, put Ronnie's car probably next to the boat, and then we've got this whole area nice and clean. It needs a bit of a pressure wash. I need to pick up some bits of metal and a bit of weed whacking and all that sort of stuff. We'll try and get some tables and stuff here, and hopefully the weather stays good and we'll be alright. But the other option is all the dudes can park here, so I'll open the gate up. We've got about 15 guys coming and they should all be bringing bikes and cars and stuff. We'll just roll them all in here and have a full like Fast and the Furious family gathering, so it should be pretty sick. So I need to get into that, and then I'll probably just jump straight into the Corolla stuff. Alright, I've been very sick for about a week. I've got spicy cough, so I still feel awesome, as you can tell. I'm in the shed. I've got 2 days before Christmas. I need to get this car finished off. So I need to do the interior and then just the like painted chrome work and stuff. So that all needs to go on. I have 2 days before Christmas, so I'm going to try and do it now and then get it done for Christmas. We might take this in the morning to my mum's place, and then the day after Christmas there's always a cruise in Adelaide, so try and get this done for that. And then after that day it'll be 2 or 3 days and then the wedding. So hopefully I'll have 2 or 3 days if I need it to fix some stuff up. I want to get this thing like road legal and driving in the next 2 days. So I'm going to jump in the inside, rip this seat out, and Emily's just off camera cleaning everything for me. And then we're going to try and get this carpet in and get all the bits and pieces in. So this is where the shortcuts start. Alright, so shortcut number 1 is the door cards for the rear. They're just painted, so they're wood that I cut out previously. I've just rattle canned them to get them by for now. I'm going to make another set after probably New Year's and then give them to the interior guy and get them redone. So there'll be another episode on this thing down the road where I finish up all the little bits and pieces. So these are going to go in. I don't like them, but they look black and they will work for now. So Em's just cleaning the back seats for me, so we'll chuck those in a minute. And I need to do the carpet in as well. So I'm just going to put this driver's seat out and get the carpet in, and then Em will be done with the back seat very shortly. Alright, so I've got the door cards in. They're just rattle can and they look horrible, but from a distance they look alright. Back seats in. The little trim guys up there were fighting me, and the exposed screws annoy me a bit, but that's how it was from factory, from memory. There was little chrome screws. So now we're just going to chuck this back piece of carpet in, and then maybe try and get the seat bolt bolted in, and then that'll probably be it for tonight. Alright, I got the rear seat in, the door cards and the seat belts, and a piece of carpet. So this is not fully down. It probably should be glued down, and there's the edges which are a bit weird. I don't have the kick plates on at the moment, so hopefully I can fix that up with those. This carpet was in my wagon and it fit pretty good, so probably just needs to be glued down, to be honest. But it's got to come back out to get the handbrake cables in, and there was something else, I can't remember what it was, but that's pretty much all I'm going to do for now because I'm absolutely wrecked. So tomorrow, try and get this front carpet in, which needs to be glued in, and then try and do the surround around the steering column for the firewall, and then try and get all the column and all the interior done. Front seats in, door cards on the front, and so we're getting pretty close. I just have no energy, so it's making it real hard. Alright, I've been in here for like 2 hours. I've got this tail light on. The trim doesn't fit because it's too close to the bodywork, so I have to take the tail light off and then put the trim on and then put the tail light back on, which is a pain in the ass. And all of these bolts were too long, so I had to cut all those down. So now I have to do the same to the other side, and then I can put these trims on and put that lens back on. So I just gave these a quick polish with some 3000 and then just some purple polish. So they came out okay, but they're not like super glossy or mint, so probably readdress these at some point. And then that reflector's still loose because it's not actually glued on anymore, but that'll do for now anyway. So I'll try and get this other tail light on and then get the trims on, and then I guess I'll try and tackle this bumper I've been in here for like 2 hours and I'm just struggling. It's just hot and can't concentrate, and it's no joke. All right, one side done. On to the other side. This is kicking my butt. All right, we got 2 tail lights in. That's a good start. I need to put this rear bumper on, but I just remembered it's 3 pieces and I need to paint the bolts and get it all together. So I'll probably try and do the front, I guess, but I'm missing a bunch of clips for that, so we'll see how we go. All right, it took me like another hour and a half. I've got the headlights in with the headlight bezels, so they look pretty good. So now I need to put the grille on, but I don't have a bonnet release cable, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get to this little cable tie once the grille's in, so I need to run that just into the guard or something for now, and I can live with that for a couple of weeks until I get around to fixing it. So I'm going to just mock the grill up and then see where I can route that. That's going to be kind of out of the way. And then it's just the bottom lights there and the side lights, which should be pretty cruisy. And then the bumpers, which, I don't know, struggling. So we're getting there, but I am really struggling. All right, so I got the grill on, we're getting there. This is the original emblem, cracks and all, from the first Ke10 I bought like 11 years ago. So this project started with that emblem and here we are. So that's pretty cool. So I worked that out, and then I need to put the lower lenses on, which I don't have a surround for, so I'm just going to have to put the lens on itself and just ignore that it looks kind of crap. And then the front bumper needs custom brackets to actually come through the apron, because the inner chassis rails on early and late are different widths. So I've got a late model car, or late model, and then an early model front bumper, so there's about 20 mil I think either side that needs to be accounted for, so I need to make some new custom ones there. And then we've got to get the indicator lenses on, and that's pretty much it other than the back bumper. So it's getting there, it's just really fiddly, and I'm trying to be really careful and not scratch anything. Alright, we've got the front end mostly on. So a subscriber and a mate, Dean, this is your fault, had jacked the car up and swapped the indicators over side to side because I had them on the wrong side, which I appreciate him telling me, but right now I'm cursing his name. So had to jack it up, undo all the zip ties, pull this wiring out, put it on the other side, and then do the opposite on the other side. So now I just need to screw this guy on, and then I can zip tie all the wires back up again, and then do the same thing on the other side, and then put it back on the ground. What a pain in the ass. So I just spent ages trying to chase indicator problems, and there wasn't any. I just disconnected it all, checked everything, plugged it all back together, and it's fine now. So not sure what was going on there. Rewired the driver's side headlight so it is the correct way around with the high and low beam, because I messed that up in a previous episode. Just got this seat in, just about to start the other side, so then that'll be the seats and the back half of the car done. I still need to put these windows in, obviously, which is another problem for later, and I do need some door cards, but I'm just going to try and get as much done as I can before Friday. And then the carpet can go in, but it's probably going to be loose, so I'll leave that till the end and then just chuck it in over the top of everything. So hopefully it looks reasonable. But then we got these panels here which need the kick panel over the top, which I haven't got any straight ones. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use those or not. So let's chuck this passenger side in, get that seatbelt set up, and then onto this stuff. So I've also redone the steering column mount, so chuck some rubber in there, put some new bolts in there with nylox and everything, so that's all nice and tight. So I just need to make sure the bottom end's tight, and then that's all good. I need to put on the indicator stalk thingy that Aiden made me, and a firewall pass through, so just the plate. I haven't got to that yet, and I can do without it, but I'd rather put it in, so that's a later job. So there's a bunch of stuff on the list. The list keeps getting longer somehow, which is really annoying, but just keep at it and it'll go away eventually. Alright, got both the front seats in, got all the seat belts adjusted up. So I'm going to call it a night for now, but I have got a bit of a list to go through tomorrow, and then I have got Friday if need be. So I'm hoping I can get it on hoist tomorrow night, and then Friday we can go for a drive. So just need to try and crack on with the list tomorrow and just try and get everything buttoned up and have no issues ideally. So there we go. Alright, so I've done a bit of a crappy job of filming due to being super busy and also feeling like crap. So I just got all the indicator stalk and everything bolted on, so that's all finalised for now. And then I had to take these down to Aiden, so this is a piece he made for me ages ago, and get a recess put in the back. They were a few mil out. So that was my measurements on the
crappy bit that I made years ago. So he luckily had left enough there that we could take a bit off, so all fixed now. So I just ran down to Aiden's work, got him to machine that off for me, and now this all fits on here nice and solid. There's a little bit of movement between the aluminium bearing holder thingy and the steering column, so I need to fix that at a later date. And also the column cover doesn't fit over this stuff, so I have to make a new column cover. But now the steering wheel actually fits on properly, so that's all the way bottomed out, and there's a little bit of a gap here. So this is the spot that I had a problem with. That indicator stalk was actually hitting the back of the steering wheel, so now we've got probably 2mm clearance there. So I think I only needed about 2mm off that thing, off that custom adapter thing that Aiden made. I told him 4 just to be very sure, and it all fits. So that's all good, and then at a later date I'll have to make a new column cover, but everything seems to line up, so that's sweet. So the next thing I did was chuck the headlight switch and the wiper switch back in. So I need to grab the knobs and put those back on properly. And then I just need to put the dash in and zip tie some stuff out of the way, and this interior is pretty much done. Pretty much done for now. It still needs carpet and a shifter boot and all that sort of stuff, and door cards, but just to be able to try and drive it, I just need those few things I just listed, and then the rest of it can come tomorrow or another day. It's coming together. Just could have put the speedo cable in, which I don't even know where that is, so I'm going to ignore that for now. Everything else in the dash should work. It's all got new globes and it should all be wired up correctly, so that should be all sweet. I did have to disconnect the horn because I think that was shorting against the steering column, so that's a later problem. So I've disconnected that just under here, which is that wire right there. So hopefully that isn't an issue, but I'll just disconnect it for now because I had something popping a fuse earlier and I'm pretty sure that was it. So now I just need to grab the 2 knobs for the lights and the wipers, put them on, and then the steering wheel, and we're pretty much done in here for now anyway. Alright, so I got the rear bumper on. That actually came up pretty good. This side needed a little bit of spacing and the other side is sweet. Everything seems to be on. The interior is all cleaned out. Got all the dash back together, the steering wheel's on, all of that stuff. I just chucked the number plate in the front window for now because I don't have the brackets for the front bar. So that's pretty much all I can do for now. I'm just going to try and take it down the road and chuck it on a hoist and just look over everything and make sure I haven't missed anything obvious and crucial. So it hasn't got quarter windows in it, but don't need side windows legally, I don't think. And these ones are wound down, so should be alright. It's just, I'm super stressed and super worried. So let's get down the road and see how we go. Alright, about to go for the proper test drive around the block, and then hopefully to my mate's workshop to chuck it on a hoist. I am literally shaking. I am so worried. So let's see how we go. Alright, we got the Corolla on the hoist, made the first test drive successfully. So now I'm just underneath, just bolt checking everything. So I've checked pretty much the back half and the exhaust and everything. All seems good so far. I'm just going to do a bit of a wheel alignment as well, now that's on the hoist. And then just check over the front end, make sure nothing's loose, and we should be all good. Successful test drives. Alright, a couple of quick squirts around the block, up the road to my mate's place to use his hoist. So thank you very much to those boys for letting me use the hoist. Just chucked everything, just chucked this on the hoist and just chucked a spanner on everything, just make sure all underneath is all good. Seems to be pumping a little bit of water out, but that, from memory, Corollas kind of do that until they find a happy level and then they just stop doing it. So hopefully that's all good, and everything else seems good. It's all feels pretty tight. The steering wheel is now on the wonk a little bit because we adjusted the wheel alignment, and then it's a little bit rattly, but it hasn't got a whole bunch of interior, so who knows. And it's also a Corolla, and it's also a little bit race car, so there's probably a bit of rattling in there somewhere. But overall, pretty happy with it. It's a good little first like 10-15 minute drive, so it's pretty sweet. Now I'll spend 2 more days working on it, and then I'm going to try and take this thing to Christmas. So there we go. Alright, it's been a couple of days since I drove the Corolla for the first time, so I had a bit of a late night last night, a bit of a Christmas party, so I'm feeling a bit crap, but we need to get this thing finished so I can drive it to Christmas tomorrow. So it's currently Christmas Eve, and I've got a small list of stuff to do on this thing, just make it all nice and presentable, and just finish off the outside of it and just make it all look pretty good. So first up is the indicators. So the original wiring from the indicator stalk was actually too small of a gauge for the Deutsch connector that I used. So when I plugged that in and out a couple of times, or plugged it in and unplugged it a couple of times, the wires actually came out of the Deutsch terminal. So I need to fix that, which is pretty annoying, but just a little teething issue. So I need to finish that. And then I'm going to put mirrors on the side, on the doors. I'm going to put the rear quarter windows in, so the opening ones on the side. Then I'm going to do door cards and a front bumper. So none of it's crazy hard. The front bumper is going to be a bit of thinking, and I really think I'm going to have to cut the apron. I don't want to, but we'll see how we go. And then everything else is kind of negotiable, I think. So it'll be good to get those few things done. Then the outside will look all legit. Pretty much just no wipers and the bonnet trim, which I haven't picked up yet. So that would be pretty much the outside of the car done. So it'd be nice to get those done, and then I can drive it with a bit more confidence, and it should be sweet. So let's get into the indicators, and then we'll move on. All right, just quickly, we got the wiring all done for the indicators, so that's all fixed. The horn's all wired up again now. That seems to have worked. I don't know if it's going to work when I put the steering wheel back on, but we'll see how we go. And then I'm just going to put the steering wheel back on in a second, which was a bit wonky after the wheel alignment, so that's another problem for today. Just going to tuck all this away and then hopefully never touch it again. So on to the next problem. All right, Ronnie's convinced me to do the front bumper first, so it's probably a good thing because I just took the bumper brackets off of a different bumper, and they're actually different. So this is the only early bumper I have, and then all the rest of my late model ones. So this one, luckily, is the early one and going on the early front, but the brackets don't line up, and the holes in the front of the bracket, which I figured would be a shoe-in, is not. So I'm gonna have to cut the bracket about there, use the back half, and then remake the front half. So not a huge problem, just a bigger problem than I was hoping for. All right, we've been stuffing around for a few hours now. We've got the front bumper sort of loosely tacked together. We've got the little corner braces remade. This side probably needs to come up a little bit, but it took me so long to make those brackets, it's a later problem. And then the front two are tacked. I still need to add another 2 on and then weld it all fully. So we just had lunch and we came out and thought that the mirrors would be a good place to start after lunch. Bit of after lunch brain energy. So we're going to try and mark it about here somewhere and mount the mirrors. And it's just terrifying because we're going to drill 2 holes in either side and they're going to be perfect. So just want the mirrors in the same spot on each door. Asymmetric will kill me inside, so we just need to try and come up with a happy medium, and hopefully they don't suck, and we'll see how we go. So we're just going to move this about 10 mil back from that cross and then drill 2 holes. So we'll mark that on both sides, make sure it's dead square, dead nuts, and then send it. All right, we're going to center punch a hole for the mirror, and if I mess this up, I wanted it on camera. So this is the moment that the paint looks shit from now on, just here. It's this back one, right? That one. Alright, a little dent. Let's do the other side. Yeah, there's another one. Alright, I drilled 2 holes in each door. Let's put these mirrors on and hope that they look good. So with the Corolla build sort of wrapping up a little bit, I've still got heaps of work to do obviously. I thought I'd clean up this spot and get Ronnie's car in here. I don't know how long this is going to stay here. It doesn't bother me. I'm just looking after it for a mate. But he said it's not all that big. But we're only probably like a metre short of there. And it's only just in at that end. and it makes this thing look like a toy car. It's pretty big F-250. That's pretty funny. But yeah, you can see we've probably got half a metre here, so it actually fits pretty good. It's just not tiny, that's all. Alright, so I just want to document this because Ronnie never stuffs up. Ronnie never has an accident. He never does the dumb thing. He did the dumb thing and he drained fuel from the F100 or F250 onto the fuel floor by accident. Doesn't matter, we'll get it cleaned up. Just need to document it because he doesn't stuff up ever. Alright, we got the side mirrors on, got the middle mirror on. Ronnie's just trying to change over the wheel bearing center cap thingies for me. So they are fighting him a bit, but we're getting there. So I'm going to pull this bumper off again and try and finish up the mounts enough to at least leave it on permanently. And then quarter windows, and we're pretty much done for the Christmas Day drive anyway. Number plate is down there, mount is up there and painted. So it's all coming together pretty close. And then we'll be back again probably tomorrow night trying to do something else to it. It's all just a bit of backwards and forwards until this thing's done. Alright, I've been in the shed for about 10 hours, 12 hours today. Got the mirrors on, which look really nice. We've got a middle mirror in, which is pretty sweet. So that's just an eBay job that I managed to adapt to the stock Corolla stuff. That came out pretty good. Got the indicators and stuff fixed up the front, and then the front bar on and mounted reasonably solid, and the number plate on, and all just tidied up. Ronnie put on the new center caps for me on the wheel bearings, and a mirror on this side. So overall, pretty good. So it's all ready for Christmas tomorrow. We didn't get the rear quarter windows in, but it's going to be hot anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we'll try and cruise this thing in the morning. All right, it's Christmas morning. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's 8:10. We're going to get in the car and we're going to try and load this thing up and take it to Mum's place. So here we go. We're doing it. We did 110. We're doing it. It's all going well. Alright, it's the day after Christmas. I'm going to try and take this thing to Dale's place, and it's bloody warm out here, so hopefully we don't have any issues. And I still don't have any side windows, so I'm just going to drive this to Dale's, park it there, and then we're going to go cruising. Alright, we got Dale washing the Tirana. The Corolla made it. It's parked in the shed so that we can leave it here and then take this thing. Maybe, or it might be in a different car. I don't know. We'll see who it turns up.
Dave, you won't be able to. Come on, get on the way, Will! Get away! All the way up! Come on! Way! Oh, nice! Get off the side! Come on, pull up!
Hey! All good?
All the drugs.
All the drug testing, all the alcohol testing, no stickers. We're good. VZ Maloo, going for a bay run. Got the sequential shifter.
Alright, so I had a pretty good night cruising with the boys last night. So drove this thing home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, no issues. Headlights work, indicators work, everything's all sweet. So now I'm just going to go for another drive. Just keep putting Ks on this thing and keep trying to make it just prove itself in reliability before Saturday. So it's currently Wednesday, and then Friday we got rehearsals for the wedding, and then Saturday is the wedding. So I need to put windows in, but that's a 2-person job, and I'm going to hassle someone later in the week, and then the rest of it I'm just going to ignore until Sunday. So let's go for a cruise and see how we go. The cold start on this thing is pretty good. I haven't started it for probably a day or so. 1 squirt of the accelerator. Mint. Alright, so you're probably sick of me going for a short drive, but I'm filming just in case something eventful happens. I've got a tool bag in the back and I've got a fire extinguisher and all that stuff. So I'm going to go out to Jackson's place. It's probably like 45 minutes from here if I go the long way, which is what I'm planning on doing, going through the hills. And I need to stop and get fuel, and we'll just see how we go. Everything should be pretty happy and pretty easy. So if the car behaves like it has the last few days, we should be all sweet. Let's see if this fuel gauge works properly. I just filled it up. We've got 3/4 of a tank. That's pretty good. Let's keep on moving. What a day for it. Just pulled over to take some nice photos. Car's going well. The fuel gauge did go to the top in the end. It just took a minute. I'm about 10-15 minutes away from Jackson's house, but everything's going smoothly. Alright, I stopped by my mate's place to take him for a bit of a spin, and we lost fuel to the carby. So I sucked on that and got a whole mouthful, which was delicious. And then we seem to have it running again, but we're just going to try and do a U-turn. He is literally that street up there, so we're going to try and do a U-turn and get back there, and then I'll have a better look. Alright, we got it running again at Chris's house, but it's still coughing and spluttering, so I think it might be timing related and maybe the spark gap has closed up or something. So I'm going to adjust that shortly. Made it to Jackson's house, so I'm just going to play with this for a bit. Hopefully it'll be all good because I've got a pretty decent trip home, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so just adjusted the points gap in the Dizzy. Seems to be pretty happy. Just adjusted that by eye and it all looks pretty happy, so just going to let it sit here for a bit, hang out with Jackson for a little while, and then I'll take him for a rip, and hopefully it's all good because I don't really want to call a tow truck today. It's too nice of a day to call a tow truck, so we'll see how we go. Well, I must have done something right. Jackson's taking photos. Just took it around the block quickly. The points gap seems to be a bit better. It's still got a little bit of a misfire and a bit of a hesitation, but that could come down to the tune, but it's not breaking up and being a huge pain. So hopefully I'll get it home and then we'll put these windows in, hopefully tonight. Got my ice latte, pretty much the same colour as the car. Probably a bit early for a celebration. I still got probably 40 minutes to get home, but it's going well. Alright, so I made it home. Everything all went pretty good on the way home. So I just grabbed some feeler gauges and refilled my drink bottle, and I'm going to go out again and go to Dale's place and maybe to Ronnie's place. Just trying to get the Ks up and just trying to make sure this thing is solid for Saturday. So I drove out to Dale's yesterday afternoon, just hung out there for a bit. Everything went pretty good, and then drove the Corolla home and then convinced Ronnie to come and help me. And we did probably the biggest task on this car so far. We got the side windows in. So I need to make some seals happen, but we have functioning side windows, other than the ceiling bit. But they shut nicely, and they stay open. And they look, the car looks weird now that it has windows in it. It looks kind of weird. So when Ronnie came over yesterday, I also had just gotten home, and just 2 streets away from my place, one of the front brakes started making a hell of a noise. So this caliper, we had to pull everything apart, all the hub off, all the brakes off, re-bleed the brakes, everything, and just move the caliper over sort of a millimeter. So we just spaced it just a tiny little bit as the disc and everything has sort of settled, and maybe the caliper mount has moved a little bit. It was just starting to grind on the inside of the caliper, so space that over. We've got a nice even gap now. So I need to test drive it again to make sure that the brakes still work, but everything feels good, and hopefully that should fix that problem. And then also got rid of the cable ties that were holding the pads in and put a proper pin in there. So now the pad should float properly, and it should actually
like butt up to the rotor square, because it was sort of swinging and tapering the pad a little bit. So we should have even better brakes than before, and hopefully they come across nice and square and even themselves out. So we'll see how that goes over the next couple hundred Ks, but it all seems pretty good. Then we realized that you can tighten up the mirrors, because they were driving me crazy yesterday when I was driving around. So I sat in the car, got those adjusted nicely, and then Ronnie nipped them all up. So we think that's pretty good. I'd like to do a few little engine things to try and stop the oil leak that is going everywhere. I thought it was the breather originally, but it looks like it might be the rocker cover gasket. So I need to fix that guy, and then also try and do some breather stuff. But the rocker cover gasket should slow it down enough that I can ignore it for a little bit longer, and then I'll fix it post wetting. And then the list is actually getting pretty short. So I quickly rewrote the list yesterday, and it's just wiper covers, wipers, carpet, the steering pass-through I keep talking about, the resi valve for the brakes, which I still don't know if I need that yet, speedo cable, the seals for the rear windows, wipers and covers is already written on there, center caps, reverse lights, set the points again, spark plug tubes are a bit worn, so I need some new ones, which I'll try and find, rocker cover gasket, clean the engine bay, and put the bonnet trim on. So today we're just going to cruise around. I'm going to go test those brakes and also go get the bonnet trim and maybe try and get that on, and then later tonight I'll try and do some other stuff on that list. It's getting real close. We're at the pointy end now. And obviously, like I've said in the past, there's a few things on here that are a bit temporary that I'd like to go back and revisit. So those things are still on a separate list, but they're not going to affect the visuals or the performance of the vehicle for the wedding. So I'm going to worry about those later, but I do need to revisit some stuff because I'm not particularly happy with it, but it will do for now. All right, let's try to take Emily out for a nice lunch, and we lost the dust cap, but Eagle Eyes Emily found it. So we've got that in this rag here. So try and chuck that back on, and then we'll go and get some lunch. All right, we got the grease cap back on. Not super confident in it, but I wasn't yesterday either, that's why it's come off. So we'll just keep going and see if we lose it. If we lose it, it's going to be annoying because they are a weird size. So I've got spares at home, but we're not going home. We're going to go get lunch. Woof. Alright, so it's another new day. Took Emily out for lunch yesterday in the Corolla. Then got home and then had to go back out to Dale's place and give him a hand setting up for the wedding. So the wedding is at his house, so just everything needs to be fixed and tidied and touched up. So him and his soon-to-be wife have done a very good job of cleaning up all the backyard, but they just needed a little bit of extra help last night. So helped them out until like 12:30 or something like that. And then we came back and got my car and took my car back to his house and then took some photos because it was the only opportunity we got to, so I'll chuck them in now. And then now I need to get back onto this car and fix up a few of the last little things. So what I want to start with is the rocker cover gasket, because I think that's leaking and that's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to put a little bit of seal on there. You don't normally, but it's leaking and it's annoying me, so I don't want it to do it again. So do that, and then we'll try and get this bonnet trim on, which I picked up yesterday, and then some seals for the back quarter windows, and then that's about it. We've probably got, and then another thing is I'd like to set up the points gap on the Dizzy properly, and that's about it really. Everything else is kind of negotiable, so I'll start with those 4 things, and then we'll see how much time I have and see if I can get anything else on the list done. This also needs a huge clean, but I've got tomorrow still, so the wedding's tomorrow at 4. So I've got today and tomorrow if I need it. Dale's coming here in the morning to get away from the bride and the bridesmaids, so he's going to come here and hang out with me. So worst case, I can con him into helping me on his wedding day fix the Corolla. How's that for memories? All right, let's do this rocker cover. All right, just a quick one. Rip the rocker cover off, new gasket, clean everything up. Just the tiniest little bit of silicone around the bottom of it. Hopefully that fixes the problem. Just getting a lot of oil up here, which I think is actually from the breathers, but then there's also a bit of oil like dribbling down the side of the block, which I'm assuming is coming from this gasket here. So hopefully that fixes it. The breathers, I'm going to try and find some filters, but like the shed's a mess at the moment, so we'll see how we go. So on to the next thing. Alright, so the next thing to do is the points gap, so I'm just going to set that up. Got feeler gauges, got a spanner to turn the engine over by hand. I'm going to need to grab a screwdriver and I'll set that up. I'm in a hurry, otherwise I'd show you how to do it. Alright, so that's the points gap adjusted. Let's try and get this bonnet trim on. Alright, so these bonnet trims are very tricky. They're held on by a little flat plate with a thread through them normally. So what I'm going to have to do is cut these bolts down, get them really short, and then use a nut that will hopefully stay captive and some washers and a whole bunch of Loctite and hope for the best. So this is the chrome trim. It's all painted like the rest of it. And it goes right along the front edge there and just finishes off the bonnet. So I got 4 cut, just need to cut 1 more and we'll see if we can get this thing on there. Alright, I got that trim on, had to make a custom screwdriver, but it's on. So let's shut this bonnet and see how it all lines up. Alright, that looks much better. Just ties in the headlights to the grille and everything, closes up that gap a little bit, and then I've just chucked a rag under either corner of the front of the bonnet. It was making a fair bit of rattling and stuff, so now it's nice and level, and hopefully that stops the rattling. I need to get some rubber little grommets or something, but that's a later problem. So for now, that looks pretty good. So the last thing that I'd like to do is the quarter window seals, and then I'll just give it a clean up, and then see how much time we have, see if we can do anything else. So this is going badly. I was just trying to shut the window. It was kind of tight, and then it smashed and went everywhere. So now I need to try and get out of here and get all this glass cleaned up. Oh dear, I hope that's not the one I only had 1 of. Oh my lord, that went everywhere. It's under Ronnie's car and everything. It's absolutely everywhere. Great. Awesome. Shit. Well, I cleaned up. Still don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I've got another window, and I don't really want to tackle it again. That's not good. Alright, so the good news is I do have another spare window. The bad news is it's covered in old tin, and it's going to take me like a day to clean it up. And I only have 1, so I don't really want to do this again by myself. So I think I might take the other one out. Alright, so I've got about 2 hours before I need to go out. So I've got enough time to get these fixings off, the hinges and stuff. And then I've got that 1 spare window for this side, which has old tint on it. So I guess I'll sit here and scrape all the old tint off. And then I'll have a look if I've got time and try and put the seal on the other side. And then when I get home tonight, try and get Em to give me a hand and get all this stuff back together. And then maybe not try and close it. We'll see how we go. Alright, I'm scraping all the tint off. Unfortunately, this window has a previous VIN number from a different car etched into it, which I don't really like. But it's the only window I've got, so let's get this thing cleaned up. Alright, I got all the window mess cleaned up. Got the hinges and stuff off. The new window has the tint removed and is clean and is over there and drying. This one I don't really want to tackle by myself because I don't want to break another one. So Em said she'll give me a hand when she gets home. We'll try and take the windows out, put the seal in, put the window back in, and then probably just leave them open. I don't really want to try and close it again. So what I was trying to do is actually just, this pushes in and then it like clips around. And I got it most of the way clipped around, and just that last little bit was enough to ka-chow the window. So that's not ideal. So I'm just going to probably clean up. I've got about an hour before I have to leave anyway, and I need to have a shower. So I'll probably just clean up, get all the tools packed into the boot again, and leave it there for today. And then when I come back tonight, we'll try and get these windows in and the seals in. And then tomorrow I just need to wash it, basically, and then we're pretty much done. After saying all of that, I realised there's no point putting tools away because we're going to need them for the windows. So I'm just going to go and chill out for a bit, and then we'll go to Dale's, do this rehearsal stuff, and then we'll come back and you'll see us putting windows in. Just waiting for the boys to get here. It sounds like one of them pulling up now. So just dig the Corolla out. We're just going to try and get this window in and then give it a wash. And then I think we're just going to hang out, and that sounds like Dale. Whoopsh. Certainly is. Let's give him a little interview, see how nervous he is. Are you nervous?
Not at all. Not at all. It's the first day I got to do nothing.
True, yeah, you don't have to do anything until 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's my first relaxing day. Well, at 2 o'clock I have to have a shower, that's it.
Alright, the Corolla's all washed. It's looking pretty good. Just need to do the inside of the windows and we're pretty much done. And then we got Tom here cleaning his C10, which he has painted since I dropped it off at his house. And it looks fresh.
Don't look too close.
Oh, I'll stand over here. It looks fresh from here. Looks real good. So this is the 2022 Ford Bronco in the US, and it is Area 51 blue. It's a very nice colour. And then right over there in the shed, we've got Dale polishing his bonnet. Alright, I'm in the C10. I'm on the wrong side of the car. This feels really weird. It's got the polished glove box. If you know, you know. Dirty dog. Alright, so we just stopped at Tom's parents' place. We're just going to grab some board shorts and then we're going for a swim in the pool before the wedding. So we got about 3.5 hours, 4 hours before we need to be ready. And all the cars are all cleaned up. We just need to put the ribbons on and that's about it really. Pretty much ready to go. So go for a bit of a dip and then do some wedding stuff. Got 3 hours till the wedding. What are you doing, boys?
Just getting ready, mate.
Just hanging out? It's 1:10. The wedding's at 4:30. You alright, Dale? Stressing out?
Oh, good.
Quick lunch before a shower and some suits. We're about half an hour late, but we're about to leave. Got the ribbons on. Let's go. Alright, we're at Dale's parents' house. Got the cars already. Just fixing one of the ribbons that broke twice. We're all suited up. Need to do it my top button, but it's pretty choky. So, cars are ready. We're all ready to go. Everyone's stressing out. Got about 45 minutes to go. Alright, we just got to Dale's. Just reverse parking up there. Dale's, Davo's, my car, Tom's car. Get hyped, boy! Dale's running off. Parked up. 4 deep in the driveway. This is where the video dies off and we get serious. And the party actually starts, yeah. Alright, taking photos. We've got trucks going past. Hopefully get some horn blasts. Look at us go. Alright, we got the cars. Got the boys in the suits. Got all the girls getting photos.
Oh, he's taking photos of the car.
Oh, is he? Alright, it's 1:30 AM. Just got back from the wedding. Had a wonderful time. I hope the video portrayed that. Obviously, I couldn't get a bunch of the ceremony stuff for obvious reasons. I was kind of a bit occupied. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Corolla build-up, the wedding build-up, the Jaffs cruise, the hanging out, whatever we did this episode. It's going to be a long one. So I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you made it this far. Thank you very much for watching and we'll see you next week.